are gonna get crazy!
Most everyone's mad here.
Soon the day of reckoning shall come. Oh boy. Sorry about that, folks. I just ate 40 pizzas in 30 days, and apparently that just makes you go completely insane. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and greetings to you all to AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast. Glad that I am snapped out of all that. But now it seems to be perfect timing, considering that we are all gathered here for another fun-filled episode, and I am ready to share with you all some very fascinating stories in the animation world and beyond. However, there is one thing I would like to clarify regarding this episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast, and that is the fact that it is going to be a little bit shorter than usual, mainly because I only have 4 stories instead of the usual 5. Yes, it has been a little bit of a dry week when it comes to news, mainly because it's just that it is American Thanksgiving going on as I am recording this, and there hasn't necessarily been a lot of news coming from that because everybody is mostly spending their times, mostly spending their time with their families in the holidays, or at least just in the United States. It's just in that area, so that's why there hasn't been a lot there. But we're still gonna have a fun-filled episode regardless. It's still gonna be a blast, and I'm sure we're all gonna have fun. So with that said, I would like to ask the chat wall, are you all ready for this episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast? Are we all prepared to go and get things started? Let me hear it, folks. Come on. Are we all ready? Alright, I can definitely see right now people are all prepared. People are all set. Oh, actually, there is one little thing that I just need to go and fix up. It's just a little thing I noticed on Twitch just to fix that up. Alright, don't worry. If you're listening to this in the future, don't mind this right now. Everything is all good. Okay, I think I fixed that up. Did I fix that up? No, I did not. Hold on, I thought I did. Never mind. Screw it. Let's go ahead and get this one started. Alright, so with our first story that I have for you all today, I think I might as well go and start things off with the biggest news of the week. And of course, it is regarding Frozen 2, which of course right now is currently the biggest movie that is currently out in theaters, the one that many people have been talking about, and obviously one of the most anticipated sequels of the year, right up there with Avengers Endgame and also Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. And a lot of people have been anticipating, which also means that a lot of people really wanted to go and watch it. And apparently, on its opening weekend, the numbers definitely show. So the first story that we're going to go and discuss is regarding the box office records of Frozen 2. Yes, last week, Frozen 2 was released, and it managed to hit big at the box office, where it got some amazing records, and I'll just say the numbers right now, that they include $130 million domestically right at the start. Then there's also internationally, it made $228 million, which leads to a grand total of a worldwide box office opening of $358 million. Now, as I stated, of course, that means that Frozen 2 did manage to break some records, and some unique records, may I add, because let's go and start things off with the domestic box office number of $130 million. Now, not only does it mean that Frozen 2 has the biggest box office opening for an animated feature not released in the summer, but it also means that this is the first ever non-summer animated feature to have an opening that surpasses $100 million. So this is the first time a non-summer animated film managed to break the 9-digit mark. And on top of that, if we also include the movies in the summer, then that actually means that Frozen 2 has the third biggest opening ever for an animated feature, right behind Finding Dory, which was actually extremely close with 135 million, and also Incredibles 2, which looks like it cannot be touched for now with $182 million on its domestic opening alone. But then there are also the other major records that it broke. When you go outside of North America, that's when things get massively huge. First of all, we got the international numbers where it's $228 million, meaning that it easily shattered the record of the biggest international box office opening ever for an animated feature. And, of course, with the total of $358 million, that means Frozen 2 currently holds the record of the biggest box office opening for an animated feature worldwide ever. Like, no other animated film has managed to start things off that big right off the bat all around the world. And may I add, since I am recording this on Thanksgiving weekend, it does seem like many people are predicting that there is another box office record that Frozen 2 is going to break, and that is going to be, possibly, Frozen 2 is going to have the record of the biggest or the highest grossing Thanksgiving weekend ever. It's going to break the previous record, which was held by The Hunger Games Catching Fire, I believe, with $109 million. So I think Frozen 2 can easily manage to break that off very easily. So those are the numbers right now. And I think it is safe to say that there's going to be no surprise that Frozen 2 is going to be the next one coming up to go and break $1 billion at the box office, since it already, like on its opening weekend alone, it already surpassed 358 million. And you know what's actually crazy with that number is that you got to realize in 2019, there have only been 3 animated features so far whose collective total is actually higher than Frozen 2's opening weekend. Only 3. The Secret Life of Pets 2, How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World, and Toy Story 4. And literally, that's it. And even at that though, after a full week released in theaters, Frozen 2 has already managed to surpass the number done by The Secret Life of Pets 2. So it's already growing tremendously, and I wouldn't be surprised if Thanksgiving is going to give Frozen 2 a massive boost on that. Now, of course, this is no surprise whatsoever regarding the fact that Frozen 2 became such a huge success. Now, the only question remains is regarding how is it that it became so successful? What is it that made Frozen 2 such a massive hit right now? Well, I did think about it, and I have come to 2 different conclusions. One that seems pretty self-explanatory, pretty obvious, pretty predictable, and one that is actually a lot more unique in the case of Frozen 2. So let's start things off with the obvious one, and I would have to say it is Disney's marketing. What Disney is trying to do with Frozen 2, and if you looked at the trailers, you'll notice that it is a little bit more different than how many other companies, and even Disney themselves, would usually go and promote an animated feature. Now, whenever you would see like previews of animated films or marketing and all that kind of stuff, normally what you would expect, especially coming from trailers, is that you would see that they would go more towards a lighthearted, family-friendly comedy in which they want to go and try to mainly target kids to go and check out Frozen 2. That's usually the kind of initiative that the marketing for animated films that they want to do. Like, their priority number 1 is to sell the movie towards kids, and maybe, like, get others to join in as well if they want to, you know? Like, adults would be secondary, but kids are usually the primary target. Frozen 2 did not necessarily do that. Now, Disney is aware that, of course, kids are going to go and easily eat this up no matter what. In fact, there have been commercials that they would go and promote Frozen 2 to kids. Like, they know they already have that market tapped, and they have, like, other plans to do so, rather it be with merchandising or TV spots and all that kind of stuff. But when you look into the trailer specifically, they don't seem to be targeting directly towards kids. In fact, they're not usually going in the same route of being the light-hearted, family-friendly comedy. They're portraying Frozen as this epic adventure. They're portraying it not as an animated film, but as a major movie event. That the main goal to check this out is to not listen to the family-friendly tunes. It's not necessarily to check out Olaf's funny shenanigans. It's to see Elsa and the gang go on this enchanted forest and get into this epic adventure where Elsa is seeking out questions and she wants to find answers for herself, rather it be like how she got her powers, like what's that mysterious voice that she keeps on hearing. It's to mainly highlight on the action of it, to look into the epic battles of Elsa versus the Knock or the water horse, to see Elsa dodge like giant rock giants. You know, to see, like, Elsa go through, you know, like, Elsa and Anna and Kristoff and all the rest of the characters, like, blaze through the fires and all that kind of stuff. They're mainly portraying it as a serious do-or-die action flick. That this is an epic adventure that you gotta see. Portraying it as a major movie event. Now, of course, I've already stated this before in the TV interview that I have done last week, but the way Disney is portraying Frozen 2 is just like the way that they have marketed Avengers Endgame, or what they're doing with the marketing right now with Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, to not portray this like your usual animated film that you get monthly, but rather to portray this as a major movie event. And from there, it got a lot of people interested, and it really got a lot of people's attention about it, really got many people discussing about it, and you could tell how the marketing has become very effective. And even for me, I gotta say, it is very admirable, because I feel like in terms of Disney, their marketing is kind of a bit of their weak point, because you usually look at some of their trailers from before. Like, a great example is Zootopia. Zootopia is another one of those movies that has been marketed as your typical family-friendly kids flick that's more about the comedy, maybe a little bit of action to emphasize the story, but in reality, it's a very mature film. It's a lot more serious, that goes into some heavy political commentary, and it ended up becoming one of, if not the best animated film that we have received in that year and even in the decade. It is just absolutely incredible, but the marketing failed to portray that. In Frozen 2, however, they decided to switch that up, to present it more as a serious action epic than a kid-friendly animated feature. So that explains that obvious element onto how Frozen 2 became a success. But there is a second reason. And this is the one where it's going to be a little bit of a head-scratcher for some, but the more you think about it, the more you'll realize that Disney is seriously benefiting from this. And that is actually the mixed word of mouth. Now, I know that this might seem strange, because usually when you talk about a movie's success and you reference word of mouth, usually you think about the positives of it. That there is so many great things that has been said all around the internet and in real life, just passing through word of mouth, that it just made people really wanted to go see it. But this is not what's happening with Frozen 2. In fact, the reactions is considered to be extremely mixed. I would even go as far and say that Frozen 2 has gathered the widest variety of reactions, more than any other feature film that I've seen in recent years. There have been a lot of people that say that they really, really love it, and then there are people who say that they really, really hate it, and then there are those that you would find in between. Some that think that it's okay, that it's just good, that it's just bad, it's just mediocre, and all that kind of stuff. And then it gets extra complicated considering that it is a sequel, that there are people who would go and compare it to the original, where you would have fans of the original that would either say that it's better than the first, or that they would say they're disappointed because it's not as good as the first. And then you got the haters as well, where you got people who say that they still hate the sequel as much as the first, or they say that it is a vast improvement as well. That I've seen a lot of people that say that they hate the first Frozen, but they actually did like Frozen 2, that it was a great improvement from before. For me, I would say, if you guys have seen my review that I posted recently on my YouTube channel, I'm like in this very weird position that I really like Frozen 2, but I don't think it's as good as the first. It's kind of in an awkward spot. And the funny thing is that you get all these different reactions, but oh my god, the one thing that I will say that I am not excited for, and that I've already seen happen plenty of times on the internet, is that so far, Frozen 2 really is starting to push the trend that's starting to really build up on YouTube, that I am really getting sick and tired of seeing again and again. And you might know what I'm saying by this. I'm sick and tired of seeing these idiotic video essays talking about how the latest Disney animated film or the latest Disney Pixar film is just mediocre. You know what I'm talking about. Whenever Disney and Pixar puts out a brand new animated film, you're always going to get a handful of these pretentious douchebags coming in and make this lengthy video essay to explain that, well, this movie is actually just okay, but it's not great as the movies that they have done before, and that's why we should shame Disney and Pixar for that, because they're usually better than this. I mean, come on, get your game on, Disney and Pixar. Oh my god. And it's always coming from these film snobs that always think that they're smarter and better than everyone else. And I'm sick and tired of this dumb trend. Like, holy crap, just make it stop. But back onto Frozen 2, the point that I'm saying is that there is a wide variety of reactions coming from Frozen 2. So wide, in fact, that it has really become beneficial for Disney. That now they could really take advantage of the age of the internet and how people feel regarding trends. Now, the thing is, with trends, usually people would hop onto social media and they want to hop on board onto what would be the latest trend. They want to be in the loop with what everybody is talking about. And considering that everybody is talking about Frozen 2, they want to know what people are saying about it, and some people do rely on just word of mouth to know that if a movie is worth checking out or not. And with Frozen 2, so far, there is no clear answer with what they can get. So far, it's very mixed. They hear a lot of people saying that they love it, they hear a lot of people saying that they hate it, and then they hear a lot of things that are just in between. And it doesn't help either that the same can be said with the critics. Now, the critics do lean a little bit more positive on Frozen 2, but even that is a little bit more mixed as well, where they have some saying that they love it, some saying that it's just meh, some saying that they're just disappointed. It's just the reactions are so far all over the place. So much so that if someone wants to try to jump into the trend but can't get a clear answer, then there's only one way that they could get an actual answer for it, and that is to see the movie themselves. They don't really know if there is a definitive answer to say how is Frozen 2, so the only way they can answer it is to just see it for themselves and come up with their own conclusion, because the internet can't really supply that for them themselves. So you can tell how it is very beneficial because it's all over the place. You cannot get a clear answer, so the only solution is to just go and see the movie. Go buy a ticket and go check out the movie yourself. That also does explain how Joker also became a massive success, considering that not too long ago, it actually did surpass $1 billion, and that's another movie as well that really gathered a wide variety of reactions. And even on Rotten Tomatoes, it didn't necessarily get some strong reviews either. I think it only got like 69 or 70% in there, which, like, yeah, it's okay, but it's not necessarily that amazing compared to many other movies. Like, it's not getting the same kind of reactions as Ford versus Ferrari. But the reactions are so mixed that one person who wants to be interested in jumping into the topic, who wants to be among the crowd to know what they're talking about, they have no choice but to go and check the movie out. That's what they have to do. And that's the big thing with how Joker became successful, and especially with how Frozen 2 is really successful. And I know that some people could say that, well, technically they could just pretend to know what they're talking about without necessarily seeing the movie, but in recent years, that's starting to become more and more extinct. That you can no longer play that little game because, especially in social media, it's just way too easy to call someone out when they're just bullcrapping their way or when they're just desperately expressing a narrative without actually seeing the things themselves or actually experiencing it for themselves. Like, imagine this scenario. You'll have this one idiot who's going to be ranting on social media about how much they hate Disney and how Frozen 2 is so awful, no one should see it, it's just so bad. And you're going to get that one person who's going to come in saying, so, have you seen Frozen 2? No, I didn't see it. You realize how dumb they sound. It's a little bit like the current state of the haters of Pokemon Sword and Shield, where they were so wrapped up in the controversies regarding the animations and the graphics and all that kind of stuff that they've already established a full-on opinion about the games. But then when you would go and ask them now that, okay, the game has been released for a few weeks now, have you played it? And they would say no, they just end up becoming idiots. So that's why that controversy quickly died out. And now it's just like, well, whatever people are complaining about with the reused animation, it's pointless. It doesn't matter now because people love Pokemon Sword and Shield. It's selling greatly for the Nintendo Switch, so it's a hit. It doesn't matter what idiotic criticisms that people would have with Pokemon Sword and Shield with the graphics or whatever. Like, whatever they got triggered over, it doesn't matter because now it's a great hit. And the same can be said with Frozen 2. And I would just like to add, though, that considering that there are many people that do love it, and I'll just say right now, at least for me, most of the people that have seen Frozen that I know, they have stated that they love it even more than the first Frozen. And you know that a lot of the ticket sales will not just be from many people who are curious to see it, but it's also the kind of movie that's going to have a lot of rewatchability value. Woo, excuse me. I just had soup and it looks like it wants to come back. But anyways, as I was talking, well, at least come back as a burp. But as I was saying, there is a lot, for some people, there's a lot of rewatchability value in terms of Frozen 2. You know there's going to be those people that's going to go and watch Frozen 2 in theaters like at least twice or 3 times or maybe go beyond that. So you know that there's going to be those ticket sales that will continue and continue and continue. And that's why I feel like in the case of Frozen 2, it's going to go extremely well, not just in the month of November, but it will continue during the holiday season. Even though, like, I'm sure by the time Christmas comes around, Frozen 2 will just be a month old and there's already going to be other major movies that will be released. But I still feel like even at that point, Frozen 2 will still be a very tough competitor, and it will do well against movies like Jumanji: The Next Level and even up against Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. I feel like it will still do well. Maybe not as, like, maybe those two movies will still be highly prominent at the time, but in the case of Frozen 2, I think it will still continue on where it will get over $1 billion. But the big question for this is not necessarily going to be regarding, is Frozen 2 going to be highly successful at the box office? Will it surpass $1 billion? I think it is safe to say that factually, yes, it will. It will have no problem. And I think, like, I wouldn't necessarily be surprised if Frozen 2 surpasses $1 billion even before Christmas. Like, that would not surprise me. The real question is, though, will Frozen 2 surpass the first Frozen? Or I remember there was a moment when many people were pretty much trying to make like a protest out of this, and they really tried to make a big deal out of it. Will it surpass the Lion King remake? Because for those people who do say that the Lion King remake is an animated film, technically that also means that it is the highest grossing animated feature of all time, surpassing Frozen 2. I believe right now it has made 1.6 billion or 1.5 billion, somewhere around those numbers, maybe even more. But the point is, it is a massive success, and that's the league that we're wondering, where is Frozen 2 gonna go? And to that, I feel like that's gonna be something where we will have to wait and see. Now, I know that I did state that in the long run, Frozen 2 is going to go well, especially during the holiday season. I mean, it is Frozen 2, and a lot of people are considering Frozen a little bit as a holiday movie, considering that it does revolve around ice and snow and the cold weather. You know, usually the things that you would associate with the wintertime, with Christmas. So a lot of people would go and check out Frozen at that time. That's understandable. Now, I get that in the long run, it will do very well, but how well is it going to do where it's going to surpass those numbers? I don't know. And even, like, getting up to the first Frozen, that's still going to be a bit tricky. Like, I will say right now, I feel like, for now, it's going to be hard to imagine to see Frozen 2 even surpassing the Lion King remake's numbers, but I feel like there could be a possibility that maybe it will step up and, go forward, go in front of the first Frozen. So that could be a possibility. On that aspect, we'll have to wait and see. But is it a major success? Yes, it is, and it will definitely surpass $1 billion at the same time. So I think that's the big thing to go and focus regarding the box office with Frozen 2. Now, regarding if some people feel like the success is worth it, honestly, I guess it really does depend on who you ask for that, because like I said, Frozen 2 has gathered a wide variety of reactions, so I don't know if many people will agree or not regarding if Frozen 2 deserves to be another $1 billion hit for Disney, because you know they got a buttload of those in 2019. So that's pretty much all there is to it with Frozen 2's success. And honestly, it definitely is admirable, and I gotta say, congratulations to the team at Walt Disney Animation Studios for making another major hit with Frozen 2. I'm sure it really wasn't an easy task to find out what to do with a Frozen 2, how to continue the story of Frozen, but at least we could tell that for now, it literally did pay off, and pay off very well. So with that said, now I would like to go into the chat wall, and I want to ask you guys, what do you think about the success of Frozen 2? Do you think Frozen 2 deserves to be a major hit like this? And do you think it will eventually surpass the first Frozen, or maybe even the Lion King remake? Let me know what you guys think. Oh, fudge, I spilled a little bit. Just need to... Good thing I have my t-shirt. I could just clean that up with that. Okay, there we go. Okay. Anyways, alright, it gave you time to go and write down your comments, so let's see. I saved the first Frozen in theaters, I saw the first Frozen in theaters and I love it. I hope to see the sequel soon. I believe the hatred towards it is completely shallow, as is based around how popular it is. People shouldn't hate something just because of how popular it is. And I'm sure that with the current success of Frozen 2, I wouldn't be surprised if that can explain some of the hate for it. Not all the hate for it, but that could explain, yeah, you're definitely going to get those people who will just shallowly hate it just because it's from Disney and it's popular. Let's see now. Who else do we got? As cool as it is that Frozen 2 is a major hit, has anyone noticed the title of the biggest domestic animated opening of all time has become a bit of a meaningless title? Like, my god, I think this happened 3 times this year with Toy Story 4 and Bootleg Lion King. But like I said, even if I haven't seen the movie, it's cool to see this become the big financial smash, and it's all worth it to it's all worth it to see what it actually looks like without the big hand boy rickrolling the audience. Oh. Oh, you're referring to last year with Ralph Breaks the Internet. Yeah. Oh my god. Oh, that is true. Oh my god. I completely forgot about that Disney did do that rickroll of like, and now a preview of Frozen 2, and it turns out to just be like an animated remake of Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley. Oh my god, I can't believe that. Oh, that is so true. Oh man. I wonder I wonder if that joke aged well, though. I don't know. Well, I mean, that's Ralph Breaks the Internet's problem. I mean, like, it's still aged better. Like, regardless of what you say, it's still aged better than the Emoji Movie, so there is that. Alright, anyways. Let's see. News like this and how much money Disney is making for the film is reminding me a lot about John D. Rockefeller. Think about it. Both have refined a medium and made it better and more popular. For Disney, it's animation. For Rockefeller, it's oil. Both have grown more and more powerful and have started controlling monopolies and owning their competition. And both become very, very powerful and controlling the majority of the market. Also, if they make a Frozen 3, there should be a villainess with fire. Oh boy, it's another one. Oh yeah, this is another one of those, like, Disney is a monopoly narrative things. Yeah, this is another thing that, like, you gotta get used to hearing people angry at Disney and claiming that they're a monopoly and stuff like that. I'm not gonna get into it, but you know there's going to be a lot of those comments that are going to be popping around lately. I mean, they have in 2019, and I'm sure it's still going to continue. But regarding Frozen 3, I know that there are a lot of people commenting about the possibility of that, but I'm just going to say right now, I highly doubt it, especially when it comes to the new creative management at Disney now that John Lasseter is out, and it's Pete Docter and Jennifer Lee that are in charge of the creative animation side of things. So I don't know if they really want to push the narrative of continuing sequels, or they just want to stick to just making original content, but honestly, I highly doubt that there is going to be a Frozen 3. Now, I could be wrong, and you never know if maybe Disney will go and demand it, but I don't know. I'm just going to say I highly doubt it'll ever happen. Like, just appreciate that we just have Frozen 1 and 2. Let's see now. Okay. Excuse me about that, folks. Just need to get that out of my system. I'll just read one more comment before we jump on to the next story. Let's see. I'm very glad that Frozen 2 made $358 million worldwide opening this weekend. I really love Frozen 2 and give it a 10 out of 10, but not sure if it's better than the first film or not. I've been trying to see it again for the past few days, but I need to wait until my phone gets paid off. I hope it beats the first film at the box office and get the same legs as the first film, since The Rise of Skywalker is getting bad reactions from test screenings. I haven't heard about the test screenings thing, so I don't really know, but I will say, but, you know, honestly, speaking of which, though, I will say, regardless of how the reactions are going to be regarding Rise of Skywalker, I feel like that's going to be another one that's going to be like Frozen 2 and Joker, but especially like Frozen 2. I feel like Rise of Skywalker, no matter how it is, no matter how people will feel about it, it's going to be another one of those that's going to be a major hit, partly because the reactions have been all over the place, where you got people who love it, people who hate it, and all that kind of stuff. And it doesn't even matter. Like, even like the harshest of haters of like The Last Jedi and stuff like that, you know they're still gonna go buy a ticket and go see The Rise of Skywalker for themselves, regardless of how much they still passionately hate The Last Jedi as if that movie somehow killed their parents. Regardless of what it is, even if they hate Last Jedi or whatever, or for whatever reason, they're still going to go buy a ticket and watch The Rise of Skywalker. Just you wait. So that's going to be another major hit. It doesn't matter what people will think about Rise of Skywalker, it's still going to be another major billion-dollar success, especially when it is the final movie of the Skywalker saga. Okay, so now that we got that done, and now that Frozen 2 has become a major success, let us now go and jump onto our next story. And what we have here is actually a trailer. And by the way, don't worry, I have tested everything out, and there's not going to be any technical errors, so don't worry, we're all going to be good on that. Now, this is a movie that I have talked plenty of times before in AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast, and honestly, this is just something that I don't want to hate this movie. I want to see if there is more to it than what they are currently showing. So, for me, the thing is, with this trailer, I want to see if maybe this one will show more of a positive light, that maybe there is more to it than just the generic world building that they presented. So, with that said, let us now go onto the international trailer to Onward. So let us go and check that movie out.
Long ago, the world was full of wonder. It was adventurous. There was magic. But it wasn't easy to master. So the world found a simpler way to get by. But I hope there's a little magic left in you.
Your dad said to give you this when you were both over 16.
It's a wizard staff. Dad was a wizard.
Your dad was an accountant.
This spell brings him back.
What? Back to life? That's not possible.
It is with this.
I'm gonna meet Dad.
Whoa, feet! I can help!
Ollie, no! Dad?
Ah, he's just legs. There's no top part. I definitely remember Dad having a top part.
Oh, what did I do? Hi.
You only have 24 hours to bring the rest of him back.
We're going on a quest.
Ta-da!
That's great. Let us ride. I think we should take the path of peril.
But the expressway is faster.
Not in the long run.
Fine. Dad, gotta go. We're dead.
Careful, there could be booby traps. Before you cast that spell again, you're gonna have to practice. Elbows out, feet apart, back slightly arched. Elbows.
Trying to focus here.
Focus.
Ah, forget it. Barley.
Oh no.
What we need is a spell that creates a magical bridge you can walk on. If you believe the bridge is there, then it's there. You can do this.
Okay, so once again, that was the international trailer for Onward. And okay, I could see a little bit of potential. I could see where things can work out. Now, I don't know, maybe I've already stated this before in my previous discussions with the other Onward trailers, but so far from what I'm seeing is that the one thing that I feel like it is doing well, it looks like it is very strong, is pretty much the kid's relationship with the dad. Like, especially for me, what I feel like is the new great thing about this that, honestly, that did get me hooked immediately is actually the beginning, where you got the main character, played by Tom Holland, where he's listening to this audio track that comes directly from his dad, telling him about this magical world, but at the end he would say, like, oh, I hope that there is still some magic in you, because, like, now the world is a lot more modernized and stuff like that. And in my previous discussions, the biggest problem that I do have so far with what they're presenting with Onward is that so far they're really emphasizing on the world building, and the world building itself just feels very generic. It's something that has been done plenty of times before, where they're just presenting this, they're presenting this fantasy world filled with elves, unicorn, magic, mermaids, and all that stuff, but set in a modern environment, which is nothing new, is nothing really original, and has been done plenty of times before. It's just, it feels like, I think the big thing that feels pretty disappointing is that it's not necessarily that concept itself, but rather, like, I think that extra sting from it is the fact that this is coming from Pixar, that you expect so much better coming out of them, but they come up with something like this that just feels a bit generic. Like, right now, you probably see on the internet where there's a lot of people that's looking down upon Onward, where a lot of people are heavily criticizing Onward right now, but are giving positive reactions towards Soul. That already people are determining that Onward will be the weaker Pixar film of 2020, and that Soul will be the one that people would want to watch. That's going to be the great Pixar film that everybody's going to be talking about. It'll be like 2015 all over again, where Soul will be viewed like Inside Out, where Onward would be viewed a bit like The Good Dinosaur at the time. And I think it really is the element of Pixar that adds that extra layer of hatred, because you normally expect so much better out of Pixar. Where if this movie were made by another company, like if this were from Blue Sky or DreamWorks or Sony, then people wouldn't necessarily care all that much. They wouldn't really give it as much attention or be discussing about it as much as they should. But the fact that it is coming from Pixar, it's just... And I mean, in this trailer, going back to the trailer, by the way, you do see a little bit of that they are still trying to get into that classic fantasy fairy tale element. And there are a few things that they have repeated from before, like, the main characters trying to bring back their dad, but it's only his legs that appeared, and then a little bit, like they showed a bit of messing with the Pixies, where they angered them and they're portrayed as like this biker gang and all that stuff. But like, it's just, that a lot of it, it's not bad. It's just meh. It's just a lot of the concepts, they just feel dull. They feel generic. And this is what I was talking about before regarding the marketing in Frozen 2, where Frozen 2, with their trailers, they portrayed it as something to be taken very seriously and put emphasis on the action. And this one does feel like they're kind of showing it a bit like an animated, a typical animated kids flick, where it's more on the humor and they're more on the animation and stuff. It's just, a lot of it is just, it doesn't necessarily matter. And from there, though, again, I don't want to harp on it too much, but I will say, like, there are still some positives. And one good thing that this trailer has done is that it did put in a little bit more emphasis on the relationship of the kids with their dad, and what they, what it means to them to finally meet the father that they never knew, the father that they never knew about, that they've heard all these legends, or one of them at least remembered seeing them like in their childhood, but hasn't seen them in like many years. So from there, the big thing to just emphasize, and I hope that this movie really emphasizes, is the heart. If they do portray the heart, if they do like a bit of the opening, you do listen a bit, like you do see a bit more of the main character wishing for the day that they could actually meet up with their dad. If we get more of that, then I think this movie would be solid. It's just, hopefully they will emphasize more on that and maybe not as much on the world building. Again, I want to get back at this. I know it sounds like I may be repeating the same things that I've been stating before, but it's just, I don't want to immediately hate onto Onward. I don't want to immediately think that it's just going to be a forgettable generic kids flick, and I want to give it another shot. I want to believe that there is more to it. You know, it's just like what Chris Pratt said near the end, by the end of the trailer, which I gotta say, it is interesting the way that they actually capped off this trailer, where they didn't necessarily end on a joke. It's just to say, like, you just gotta believe. You know, just a little cute message about believing in yourself. Oops.
You can do this.
No, hold on. Just back that up.
If you believe the bridge is there, then it's there. You can do this.
You know, with that little message, and then he's walking, and that's it. I gotta say, that is actually pretty interesting. Like, it didn't end off on a joke. There is no conclusion to it. It ends up on that. So that's the thing. I want to believe, like, that's the thing. I want more of the heart. And just like what Chris Pratt said, if you believe it's there, then it's there. So I want to keep up my optimism on this. I want to believe that there is more to it than just a generic concept of this fantasy world, but modernized. So that's kind of the big thing for this for me. And I mean, with this trailer, it's kind of giving me that a little bit. It's giving me a little bit of hope that there is more to it, but I don't know. It's just, for me, I just want hope for this, that it is more than just generic. You know, that's kind of the big thing I want to do. But if you guys are interested in checking out this movie, just remember, I believe it is going to be coming out on March 6th of next year. So just mark your calendars just in case, if you guys are interested in checking out Onward. So with that said, I would like to go into the chat wall, and I want to know from you guys, what do you all think about this trailer of Onward? Do you guys think that it's actually better than before? Do you think this is a better trailer than like the official trailers that we've had previously? Are you guys still disappointed by it? Do you still think it looks like a generic kids flick? Let me know what you all think about this trailer. Okay, let's see. Two brothers using magic to revive their deceased parent. It kind of reminds me of another story. That one ended very badly for everyone involved, though. I don't know which one you're talking about specifically, but I'm sure that's not the first time we've heard something like this, so I'll definitely take your word for it. Let's see. I can already tell that it has more heart than Chicken Little. Then again, what movie doesn't have more heart than Chicken Little? Like, that's an easy thing to accomplish there. Okay, let's see. I'm super stoked for both Onward and Soul. This trailer got me hooked, and I wish there was an American trailer and not just an international trailer, because this will get people more interested. My guess is that Onward will be compared to Moana and Soul will be compared to Zootopia. Well, that's definitely a lot more of an optimistic way of viewing it, so that could be the case as well. Let's see. This looks solid. Hopefully this is a heartfelt movie and not just a generic movie like what you said. This is coming from Pixar, but I feel like this will be like Cars 3 of Pixar in 2020. Decent, but not amazing. Yeah, then again, you can't really ask for too much from it. I'm definitely interested. I do feel like we should have at least give this movie a chance. I feel the reason people are looking down on this film is because we expect such high standards from Pixar. Exactly. And it's like I said before, like the factor that it is from Pixar, it does play a heavy factor on how people would view these movies. That's why, like, when it comes to some of the other films like Brave or The Good Dinosaur, like, a lot of people really do look down upon it and give a lot more hate than they should, mainly because of the fact that it is from Pixar. If it were from another company like DreamWorks or Sony or Blue Sky or whatever, then they wouldn't necessarily be as harsh on it, and they would probably view it as like a superior film than some of their previous works. And truth be told, Good Dinosaur and Brave, it's already better than most films already done by Blue Sky or Sony, but because it's from Pixar, a lot of people really do bash on them hard. And I don't know if it's because they want to bash Pixar hard, but I don't know. It's just pretty crazy. All right, so let's go back to this. I'll admit it. It did do better than the previous trailers, and I hope they really focus on the heart of the film, because that's one aspect I'm interested in seeing. But yeah, it could be like The Good Dinosaur, and Soul can be like the next Inside Out, but maybe not a box office bomb like The Good Dinosaur. We'll see on that. We'll see. I don't know. I'm not gonna say like, oh, it's gonna flop, it's gonna be a bomb and stuff like that, but I wouldn't necessarily be surprised if that would be the case. I don't know. Okay, anyways, never say never, especially considering this year we've had a lot of surprises in terms of box office bombs. And not even Disney is safe, by the way. I mean, even they got some box office bombs this year. Have you seen Dumbo? No? Well, that's why. Let's see now. I'll go and read one more comment, then we're gonna jump on to the next thing. Do you know what's the weird part? The international trailers seem like they do much better than the domestic trailers. I think it has some improvement here and there, but I will remain optimistic on this film. Well, you know, honestly, it is actually very nice to see that there's a lot of people that want to be optimistic on Onward. So it's not just me. I know there are plenty of others that are still trying to hold on to some hope to see that maybe Onward could be more worth our time than what they are presenting. That maybe it is a case of Zootopia, that it's just bad marketing and the movie actually turns out to be quite amazing. Who knows? Okay, so now let's go and jump on to our next story. And with the next story, this is some actual bit of animation news. And this is something that just came out of nowhere. But it is something that has received some major reactions. And the more I think of it, the more that it does make sense onto why this actually did occur. And what I'm talking about is the time that we gotta say goodbye to Christina Miller. Yes, folks, the president of Cartoon Network is going to be stepping down at the end of the year. Now, you guys may know Christina Miller as the president of Cartoon Network and also the executive who would oversee not just Cartoon Network, but also Adult Swim, Boomerang, and Turner Classic Movies for the last 5 years. But now she ultimately decided she's going to go and step down from her position. She stated, reading from my source here on Variety, it says, this is not a decision I came to lightly. It's one of the hardest I've had to make in my career. Ultimately, it feels like the right time for me to leave and take a little time to think about what comes next. But I do so feeling immensely proud of the work we've done together and so grateful for the experience. Now, some people may be wondering, well, what's going to be in the future of Cartoon Network and also those other programs like Adult Swim, Boomerang, and Turner Classic Movies? Who's going to be taking Christina Miller's position? Well, they have already decided on a successor, and that is actually going to be Michael Welling, or I don't know, it's kind of difficult to say, so I'm just going to call him Michael. So Michael Welling, the Executive Vice President and Chief Marketing Officer of Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, and Boomerang. Michael is going to be the one that will be replacing Christina Miller as she leaves by the end of the year, and then once 2020 will start, then we're going to enter into a new age of Cartoon Network and those other channels with Michael. So that is the big thing that has occurred. And interestingly enough, I'll start things off by saying that among the animation community, this did receive a lot of mixed reactions. Now, Christina Miller is a bit of a controversial figure that some people either really like her or they really hate her, depending on the reasons. Now, it's not necessarily because of any ethical reasons. It's not because of like her treatment to her employees and stuff like that. It's mainly just the way that she has been maintaining Cartoon Network in general, regarding like some of the shows that she has been released, the way the schedules had been organized. Some people do feel very mixed about it. But in terms of why Christina Miller has to leave, it was honestly something that the more I do think about it, the more that it actually does make sense. Because in 2020, we are going to be entering in a brand new age of Warner Media. This is going to be a time, and not just Warner Media, by the way, but a new age of entertainment in general. Mainly because in 2020, that is going to be the release of HBO Max, the Warner Brothers streaming service. Now, I know some may think that, okay, well, that's just going to be the release of a streaming service. Is it that big of a deal to apply some major changes? Well, to be honest, excuse me about that. Well, to be very honest, yes, it is. It is a major game changer. And in the case of Cartoon Network and with Warner Media, when HBO Max is going to be coming in, that's going to give Warner Media brand new major responsibilities to go and take care of, because now they're entering in a new major entertainment market. Like, now they got movies, they got television, but now they have a streaming service. Now they're going to be entering in with their own competitor to fight against companies like Netflix, Disney Plus, Hulu, Hulu technically is with Disney, but Netflix, Disney Plus, Amazon, and all those streaming services. Now, Warner Brothers is going to step in with their special streaming service. And from there, in the case of Cartoon Network, that also gives Cartoon Network a lot more responsibilities to go and handle. Not just to go and organize what shows would be on the TV show, but also to organize into the streaming service, because they got several shows already set up onto HBO Max. They're not just going to be, like, you're not just going to go and find exclusive Cartoon Network shows. Like, you're not just going to go there and find some of their old shows onto Cartoon Network, but at the same time, you are going to find some stuff that will only be on HBO Max that will be done by Cartoon Network. So it adds some extra responsibilities in order to develop, and some new marketing strategies, and you gotta go in with a new plan to enter into the entertainment business. And maybe in the case of Christina Miller, she's not ready to go into these responsibilities just yet, and she did state that she's not 100% sure about what would be her next step in the future, but you do need a new plan, a new strategy, and maybe even a new leadership in order to move forward, in order to progress the companies like Cartoon Network and Adult Swim and Boomerang and Turner Classic Movies, so that they can progress in the new age of entertainment where streaming services will be a lot more dominant. And that could actually be the case right here with Cartoon Network. Maybe Michael actually has more of an idea with what they can do with the shows that are on Cartoon Network, with the way that he knows how to split them up, with what shows can be on Cartoon Network on television and what shows can be on the streaming service. And it will take some time to go and organize everything, but it is something where you do need a new strategy plan, and you gotta go and start things from the ground up. So it could be understandable why, and maybe even necessary, that Warner Media might need some leadership changes, especially for Cartoon Network, and especially for a bit of their animation division as well, because you never know what you never know what HBO Max will need and what kind of shows that it will need in order to sustain itself and to make itself grow larger. So honestly, that could be the major case. And regarding the whole situation with Christina Miller, I did state that a lot of people did feel very mixed about her with how she was running Cartoon Network, but from the way that I see it, with the way that she has been maintaining Cartoon Network, I don't know, it looks like she's been doing fine. Like, she has been keeping the channel up, she's been keeping the channel afloat. And even if you would argue about, the shows that have been released at the time or during her time, there have been a lot of great and memorable stuff that did come out. Shows like Craig of the Creek, shows like Infinity Train. There have been a lot of noteworthy shows under her leadership that have been highly praised and still praised to this day. And I think I think even We Bare Bears could actually count on to that. So honestly, I don't know about you, but I feel like maybe she's been doing pretty fine. But that's currently the big thing with Cartoon Network. So for me, I feel like it is perfectly understandable why Christina Miller has to go and step down on her position, because it's gonna be like in 2020, Cartoon Network is not going to be the same Cartoon Network as it will be this year. Once HBO Max is going to it's going to be public. Once HBO Max will be public, that's when everything is going to change. So I just want to give you all a bit of a heads up on that. But with all that said, I would like to say I wish the best of luck for Christina Miller for her future, and I wish the best of luck for Michael for his future as the new leader of Cartoon Network, along with the other channels like Adult Swim, Boomerang, and Turner Classic Movies. So I wish all of them the best of luck. So with that said now, I would like to go into the chat wall, and I would like to ask you guys, what do you all think about Christina Miller stepping down as the president of Cartoon Network? Is it something that you are actually relieved about? Are you guys a little bit saddened about this? Do you think she did well? Do you think she didn't? Let me know what you all think of that. Okay. Let's see. To quote from the meme, "We did it, boys. Teen Titans Go is no more. I'm surprised she was leaving. It is a sad shame she ain't gonna go back to be a CEO again. I saw this on the news and I thought, finally, it's my only day that I could live without the show that haunts my dreams and reality. And to Warner Media, thank you, Lord. You made cartoon community proud. Amen." Yeah, and you know, honestly, that's one of the things that a lot of people have mentioned regarding Christina Miller, because a lot of people do blame, that's the one complaint from the cartoon community that they have from Christina Miller. Well, no surprise, of course, no surprise, it's the cartoon community whining about Teen Titans Go, just like they usually do on a day that ends with Y. But apparently, a lot of people do blame Christina Miller for some reason, that stating that somehow she's the one that is responsible for having Teen Titans Go continuously have reruns, and some people think that now Christina Miller is going to leave, that means Teen Titans Go is going to be canceled finally. I'm just going to say right now, I highly doubt it. I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, if it's doing very well for the channel, then what makes you think it's going to stop? Like, they don't care if the cartoon community is going to continuously whine and bicker and complain about it. I don't think a leadership change, like, it's not going to be like Michael is going to step in as the president, and the first thing he'll do is just stop stop Teen Titans Go to please the loud minority that's just whining and triggered about Teen Titans Go again and again. You know, they're not going to do that. I highly doubt that because of this, Teen Titans Go will be over. So I'm just saying. Let's see now. Well, looks like most people who grew up with Cartoon Network are very happy about this. Hopefully, the new president of Cartoon Network would have a variety with new shows on. And hey, even ended Cartoon Network shows like Adventure Time, Regular Show, Chowder, Flapjack, Ed, and Eddie, Camp Lazlo, Hi, Puffy Yami Yumi, and more. Hopefully Michael would help each of the networks to get people who grew up with the networks back to watching it, not trying to force him to do it, just trying to make Cartoon Network have a variety. Well, then again, like, I gotta play devil's advocate here. As I stated, like, you don't think the shows that Christina Miller did put out, it's not a variety? I mean, again, like, there have been some strong shows under her leadership. Like, yeah, sure, she came in after the time of Adventure Time and Steven Universe, but there are still shows like We Bare Bears, Craig of the Creek, what else? Oh, KKO, Let's Be Heroes, Mighty Magiswords. You know, all those TV shows that are doing extremely well for Cartoon Network and giving the series a bit of a variety. You know, it's not just for people who it's not just for people who grew up with Cartoon Network. Like, their priority is for the kids who are watching Cartoon Network. The people who are nostalgic for Cartoon Network, they come second. You guys are not the priority, so I'm just saying right there. Okay, let's see now. I'm not familiar with how Christina Miller is liked or not in the community, but it sounds better with how people like Anne Sweeney and Sima Zargami are considered. and Sweeney got a lot of backlash after eliminating the demographic for the Disney Channel in the early 2000s, and Seema Zargami got a lot of backlash after it was discovered that she blacklisted people from Nickelodeon. Yeah, and that does bring up a good point. Like, it could have been worse, it could have been worse, because so far the complaints about Christina Miller are very, very petty, and they're not as serious as something like Seema Zargami, what Zargami has done, that is serious, and that is actually dangerous, and that is something that is worthy of actually getting backlash. Christina Miller, if you're really angry at Christina Miller because of all the reruns of Teen Titans Go, that's more a problem with you more so than it is a problem with Christina Miller. That's just something that she's just doing her job in order to maintain Cartoon Network as a television station. Okay, so, let's see. I don't really care about Christina Miller stepping down. People bash her for everything she's not in charge of, and ignoring the head executives of Time Warner. 2020 is definitely an interesting time for Cartoon Network. I can hear the cartoon community cheering and celebrating her departure for Teen Titans Go, despite it not airing that much in 2019. Now we need the President of the United States of America to step down as well. Oh, yes. Oh, my God, that would be a freaking dream. But, yeah, you do bring up a good point about Christina Miller and the cartoon community. I mean, we just had a taste of it right now. I'm just saying. Okay, so I'll just read one more comment before we jump onto the next one. Let's see. I do like that Christina Miller is giving Cartoon Network some new blood, though I won't be surprised if the cartoon community will laugh at this for obvious reasons. Yeah, already we could tell how the cartoon... Yeah, already we could tell the dumb reactions of the cartoon community is just simply that. It's just dumb for reasons that they don't understand. And obviously, it's kind of... it really does emphasize a stereotype of the cartoon community that is true, that they think they know a lot about the animation industry when they actually don't. So they're accusing things about and they're accusing and hating things on Christina Miller for things that obviously it's not on her control, and it's things that they obviously just do not understand. It's just the cartoon community. What the fridge else do you expect? All right. Now, with that said, it is time that we are going to go and jump onto the grand finale. Yes, it's been pretty quick, but now it is time that we shall go and cap this off with what is possibly the craziest story of this week. And honestly, I think I discovered this just yesterday. And honestly, it is something that the more you discover it, the more insane it sounds. And even to this day, I still don't know how to feel about this story. And oh my God, it's just, we're in for a crazy time with this one. So we're gonna start things off by discussing about the fact that it seems a little bit tame. Even the headline on this article here, it doesn't sound that bad. It says Johnny Depp producing a musical about Michael Jackson. Excuse me. Okay. That doesn't sound all that much. It doesn't sound too bad. What is it that sounds insane about it? What makes this actually crazy? Well, the thing is with this Michael Jackson musical is that it's going to be told through a very fascinating perspective. It is not going to be through Michael Jackson himself. It's not going to be through his friends and family, so it's not going to be through the perspective of the Jackson 5 or his manager or his wife or whatever. It's not going to be through that. It's not even going to be through the perspective of his pet chimpanzee, Bubbles. Now, I know they wanted to do that as a stop motion animated film, but unfortunately, it looks like those plans seem to be canned, unfortunately. No. It's going to be none of that. It's going to be through the perspective of someone who knows Michael Jackson best. Someone who is equally as iconic as Michael Jackson. And it's going to be a musical about Michael Jackson through the perspective of his glove. Yes, the sparkling glove that Michael Jackson is known to be wearing is going to be the star of this Broadway musical. Well, not Broadway, but rather a stage musical. It's not going to hit Broadway, or at least it's not going to hit Broadway yet, but it will be a musical in which it will start off in LA and then go from there. But yes, the star is actually going to be the glove that's going to come to life, and it will talk, and it will sing. Oh, but wait, there's more. Let me just go. Okay, so I'm just gonna go and read a little bit, coming from my source here in page 6, which originated this crazy story. The wild show, which is called, and I kid you not, For the Love of a Glove, an unauthorized musical fable about the life of Michael Jackson as told by his glove, and is written by playwright Julian Nitzberg, will debut on January 25th in LA. It is described as a look into the strange forces that shaped Michael and the scandals that bedeviled his reputation, as narrated by a talking and singing glove. Oh, but wait, there is more. It continues on, where it says that not only will there be actors, but there's also going to be life-size puppets. Oh, so it's going to be a puppet of the glove. Well, not just that, but if there's a big name celebrity that is also attached to this, that's going to be involved in this story, then the celebrities, they're not going to be represented by actors, but rather life-size puppets. They even said that actors star with life-size puppets of the Jackson 5, Donny Osmond, Emmanuel Lewis, Corey Feldman, and Bubbles the Chimp. So this is going to be a show about Michael Jackson with puppets and people. Oh, but if you listen to how Julian Nitzberg got the idea, oh man, this is where the real madness starts. I'm just going to warn you right now, brace yourselves, because we're really going to get into some real piece of madness right over here. So, apparently, Nitzberg had this idea for a very long time. He had been holding on to this script for about 17 years. And he stated, and I quote, I'm known for writing a lot of biopics. A major TV network wanted me to write a Michael Jackson movie. But the question came up about how to deal with the child abuse allegations. And when the network and Nitzberg disagreed, I said, how's this? Everything MJ has been accused of has actually been caused by his glove, which is actually an alien from outer space and feeds on virgin boy blood. I need a moment. I just need a moment. I said that. Those are words that came out of my mouth. Wow. I don't know how. I can't even with this. I don't even know how to even with this. What? Really? What? Anyways, back onto this. They laughed and said, "Can you do the normal version?" But it was morally kind of repugnant of me to do so. I turned down a really big paycheck. He thought, I'm going to go back to this and do this as a musical, but we just couldn't get the financing. And apparently, the financing did come in, and it's actually, oddly enough, from the help of Johnny Depp himself. As it even states, Depp's company, Infinitum Nihil, I think that's how you say it. Depp's company, Infinitum Nihil, headed by CEO Sam Sarkar, got involved after Nielberg worked on development on a biopic of 1960s one-hit wonder Tiny Tim to star John Turturro. I have no confirmation regarding if that is still happening, but apparently that was a project that they were working on. They continued by saying It ended up never getting made, but it developed a very good relationship with them. Ah, okay, so that answered it. So the Tiny Tim biopic got canceled, but he still got in touch with them. When he pitched under the ideas, an exec said, what are you working on? The writer said on his Jacko satire, I'm doing this theater piece you probably aren't interested in. So it also mentioned, though, that it is the latest Jacko project in the wake of HBO's Leaving Neverland documentary. A sanctioned musical, MJ, heads to Broadway next year. So that's the big thing, is that so now we got a stage musical produced by Johnny Depp, or at least Johnny Depp's company, about Michael Jackson in the perspective of his glove. Oh, and there is one more thing. There is one more thing I need to show you, and that is the poster. Apparently, there is an official poster that was released, and I did manage to get a good screen cap of it. And if you want to know what the poster looks like, here it is. For the love... Yeah, so, hold on. Oh, boy. It's shrinking now. For the love of the glove. For the love of a glove, an unauthorized musical fable about Michael Jackson's life as told by his glove. And if you guys are only listening to this, I'll just describe to you that it's pretty much a very 70s poster where, like, even the font is, like, bringing out, like, this groovy 70s vibe, and you got, like, a lot of lights behind him. And you see, like, on the right side, it's Michael Jackson on his red jumpsuit. Like, you don't see his face. His entire face is covered by his fedora. And, like, right in the center of it is, like, just massively his hand right in front of everything. And he's wearing his glove. And the glove just has this out-of-place cartoony face. Like, that's probably the most hilarious thing. It's just this random cartoon face that feels like it came right out of nowhere, that feels completely out of place, and it's just right in the center of the hand, it's just going, ah. What the fridge is this? It looks like a kid just came in and saw this Michael Jackson poster and decided to put in stickers. That's exactly what it looks like. What's with this cartoony face on this realistic Michael Jackson? It feels weird. Like, why? Why, though? And, oh my god. Like, honestly, at first I thought, okay, that does seem like an interesting story to go and talk about for AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast, but it really is the kind of thing that the more I went into it, the more I'm like, oh god, what have I gotten myself into? Especially, like, reading the description about what he originally wanted to do with the glove, portraying it as this villain that's causing all the allegations that apparently that feeds on virgin boy blood. Like, honestly, this is one of those things that it might sound crazy of even me to say this, but I think this is honestly a little too insane for me to know what the fridge is gonna happen, and I'm kind of scared to know how the end result is gonna look. Honestly, at this point, I'm not sure if they are going to go into that route where they're portraying, like they want to make a little shop of horrors, but instead of the plant Audrey 2, they decided to go with the freaking glove that Michael Jackson wears. Like, apparently that's let's turn Michael Jackson's glove into freaking Audrey 2. That seems like a good idea for a freaking plot line of a musical. I don't know how. It's just, I don't know how insane they're gonna go, and I'm too scared to find out how. Like, I don't know if they really are gonna go in that direction, if they want to go, like, with the glove as the villain, or they want to go a little more straightforward with the biopic. I don't know. And honestly, with the involvement that there's also gonna be puppets, where you're gonna have puppets as, like, some of the celebrities that Michael Jackson interacted with. And then you're going to have a talking glove that's going to tell me the life of Michael Jackson. And it's going to, we're going to have the glove's perspective about the scandals that Michael Jackson went through. Honestly, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how people will react to this. I just don't know, especially the fact that we still live in a time after Leaving Neverland, because I'll just say, if there is one thing that Leaving Neverland has caused, is that it really made people solidify their position on which side of the argument they want to be. Now, of course, there are still a group of people that are still indecisive and don't know if he did it or not, and I'll admit, I'm a part of that gang that I feel like there are good arguments on both sides, and honestly, I feel like the answer is never going to be revealed regarding if Michael Jackson did it or not. But I feel like ever since Leaving Neverland, there are many people that solidified their statement that they feel like Michael Jackson did do it, he is guilty, and the accusers are telling the truth. Or there are people that say that Michael Jackson is innocent, the accusers are liars, and he did nothing wrong. All these allegations are just false. So that's the only thing that it caused. And then you got this biopic coming in. I don't know. I just don't know what to expect. I feel like it is too crazy to exist, especially right now. I just don't know, and I'm kind of scared how this is gonna be. Like, this is the first time in a very long time where I honestly feel a bit scared about how this is gonna go. I'm scared to know how insane is it gonna be. Will people, is it gonna be crazy to the point where, like, it's gonna get backlash, or people are gonna love it, or if it's just gonna be way too freaking weird? I don't know. Like, honestly, maybe this is gonna turn out to be a masterpiece. You never know. Like, this could actually turn out to be, like, the next the next musical sensation, since Hamilton. That could be the case. Like, maybe this is, like, a mad to the point where it's, like, a mad genius kind of thing. But no, now they decided it's just gonna be, no, but I don't know. That's the thing, though. It's just, like, this is a concept that, even for me, it's just too insane. Because usually, like, whenever there's, like, some kind of crazy concept that's going on, usually I want to encourage the madness. I want to encourage the insanity to make it, like, go full on bonkers with it and just see where it goes. But in this case right over here, I am scared if it actually does go into the full insanity levels that I would usually encourage, because this is also dealing with some serious issues, because the things that Michael Jackson has been accused of are incredibly serious and incredibly illegal. Like, this is like some serious criminal activity that no one should ever go and do, or no one should ever go and consider. So with this coming in, where you're gonna have the satirical take through the perspective of his glove, it's just, I don't know. Maybe it's genius. Maybe this is just insane. I'm just scared with how this is gonna end up. I just don't know what to expect out of this, but I just gotta share with you all this freaking For the Love of a Glove. Do we need the perspective of Mike? I don't know. I want to know, how do Michael Jackson fans feel about this? I want to know what do they think about it? That's a good question. I want to know, and especially for the chat wall. If you are a major Michael Jackson fan, even after the Leaving Neverland documentary, I want to know what you think. It's just, I don't know. I don't know about this, you guys. I don't know, and I feel scared. That's how I feel. It's like, oh God. Julian Nitzberg is clearly a madman with his ideas that he could possibly have with For the Love of the Glove. So, I really don't know, man. I'm at a loss of words. I just know that I gotta share this with you all, and that this is a thing. How this is gonna go, I don't know, but we're gonna get a stage musical, and it's gonna be about Michael Jackson's glove. It's one of those things, like, one thing I do know, though, is that I do miss the times when we're just gonna have that Bubbles stop motion movie. At least that thing is simple. That thing is easy to comprehend. Okay, it's the life of Michael Jackson, but through the perspective of his pet chimpanzee. And it would be a stop motion animated feature. Alright, I could see where that can go well. This one is a stage musical about a freaking talking and singing glove. What the fridge is gonna happen? I don't know. I have no idea, but this could be too wild for me. Holy crap. We'll just have to wait and see, I guess. If you're in the Los Angeles area, by January 25th, I believe, on January 25th, then get ready for Michael Jackson's life through the perspective of his glove. So now with that said, I would like to go into the chat wall, and I want to immediately ask you guys, what do you think of this? Is this a show that you want to see? Do you want to check out For the Love of a Glove? Do you want to check this out? Is this your show? I don't know. Let me know what you think. I don't know. Like, holy crap. Okay. So, let's see. So while I think this is one of the trippiest ideas for the musical, and probably one of the worst and riskiest, I'm a firm believer that you can make anything a musical. Example, I want to make a stage adaptation of an anime series that I really like called Quintessential Quintuplets, which if you're reading this, Matt, keep an eye out on Patreon for that request. Oh boy. And there's quite a lot of work with it, but that's my take on it. If you put a lot of effort, you can make anything a musical. That is definitely true, and I'm not saying this is going to be terrible. This is just a weird, like for me, it's just a weird, an idea so weird that I don't know what the outcome could be. This could be fantastic. This could be terrible. This could be of such poor taste. Or maybe they handled the situation so well that even the people who find Michael Jackson guilty would absolutely adore it. So I don't know what's gonna happen. Honestly, I'm in a situation where I really do fear the unknown. Alright, let's see now. I don't know how to feel. This is definitely going to be insane, and the only thing I'm thinking, what were people behind the show smoking when they thought of this? Maybe they didn't even take substance, man. Do not underestimate the power of imagination and the far depths that it could go, because sometimes they can go into some really insane places. Alright. Okay, that is just bizarrely weird, even for a stage play. I mean, really, the glove is alive. I hardly even knew he even had a glove, and even if he did, you know what Michael Jackson does with his dances. Even my crazy concept of a play makes more sense than this. Not to mention this random, but at school we came up with a place that's more like Who Framed Roger Rabbit with MJ Music, where a lot of the concept is like a tango smooth criminal and an a cappella prison scene of Bad and many more, and it plays with this song. Yeah. Oh my god, you do bring up a very good point. Oh my god, that poor glove. You do have to realize that when it comes to this glove, you do know that famous move with Michael Jackson where he pulls up his crotch. You know, the one where he goes like, that one. I'm sure, okay, say what you will, it could be debatable regarding if he touched those kids a lot, but you know, that glove went into that nether region many times, and there's no denying that is not an allegation, that is a fact. So getting the perspective of that glove, oh my god, now I just realized that just makes things worse. That just makes things worse! Oh god! Why do you do this, glove? Why, glove? Why? Oh my god. Alright. What in the 8 divines is this insanity? In the words of the Cybermen from Doctor Who, this is the human condition of madness leader. I mean, what's next? A musical about the nostalgia critic's tie, where the tie is a Lovecraftian horror and also sucks on women's vagina? Oh god. Yeah, I don't think the last one would happen, but oh my god. The nostalgia critic's tie, where the tie is a Lovecraftian horror. I wouldn't be surprised if that would become real, and it would become real in a Nostalgia Critic episode. That's why you should be careful to say things online, because you never know if Channel Awesome or Doug Walker is listening to this, and he'll think it'll be a great idea and turn this into another review in the veins of, like, The Wall. You never know. Oh, God. Oh, boy. Let's see now. Okay, let's see. What the heck was that? This premise Looks like something made by Adult Swim. Then again, a lot of musicals have weird concepts. Imagine making a musical where O.J. Simpson is accused of crimes his glove committed. Or imagine it's all caused by the football. The people who made this must be on drugs or something. Do you think the musical seems better or worse than Cats? Now, no way that glove with a smiley face does that atrocity with the boy blood. Oh God. What's next? A musical about Donald Trump's presidency from the perspective of his hair. Oh my God. No, oh my God. You know, the sad truth is, I think that's gonna happen. Once Donald Trump is out of office, I'm sure there's gonna be someone who's gonna do that. Who's gonna make a whole musical or is gonna make something like his entire presidency just based on the perspective of his hair. That honestly sounds like it would make a lot more sense, and it feels like if it's gonna be more legitimate that it could happen than this. Oh my God. I'll just read one more comment because I think this glove is frying my brain. This sounds way too weird for words. A stage musical about Michael Jackson's glove. No way this will do well in my opinion. You never know, dude. You never know. This could be the next Hamilton, so I disagree with you and say that it could find a way. You could be right that maybe it's too weird to succeed, but maybe at the same time, it could be too weird to fail. But with that said, I think I need to relax my brain now, and I just gotta say, that's all for today's episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast. So let me just say thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you guys so much for listening. It's been a great episode, and hopefully we will have a lot more madness coming soon in the following episodes. But for now, once again, I would like to say thank you guys so much for listening, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, see you later, dudes!